So I'm beginning by taking a 24 gauge wire and bending a small hook in the end of it. Now I'm taking a piece of white gum paste, which is about 1 centimetre in diameter, and I'm rolling it into a sort of bone shape with one end larger than the other. I'm now taking a cell pin and I've just greased it lightly with a little bit of white vegetable fat, and I'm inserting it into the wider end of the bone to make a nice hole. Now I'm taking some small scissors and cutting 5 snips to create 5 even sized petals. Now pinch each petal to narrow the end and then squeeze it between your fingers to flatten the petal. Now I'm just taking it upside down on my cell pad and I'm going to use my Dresden tool just to thin and widen each petal. Now I've just flipped the flower back the right way and I'm pinching each petal between my fingers to form a point. Now just take the wide end of the Dresden tool and make a small indent into each petal. Now I'm taking my hooked wire, dipping the hooked end in some egg white, wiping off the excess, and then threading the non-hooked end through the centre of the flower so that the hooked end ends up meeting the top of the flower and sitting just below so you can't see it. I'm now just pinching and securing the paste to the wire. Now taking another ball about 1 centimetre diameter and rolling it into the same one-ended bone shape, and then taking another hooked wire and this time threading the hooked end up through the base, so the narrow end of the bone, up to the sort of top part but not poking out. And then I just sort of pinched the top end to a bit of a point and take the narrow end of a Dresden tool and I'm creating between sort of 3 and 5 lines to indent along the top. Now I'm taking a small star cutter. This is actually the calyx cutter from my sweet pea cutter set, but you could use any small star cutter. And I'm just snipping in between each of the points with my scissors just to slightly lengthen each of the sepals here. And now taking the wide end of my Dresden tool and just putting one line in between each of the sepals just to give them a bit of a cup shape and to stretch them slightly. Now put a dot of egg white onto the centre, thread the wire through so that it meets the bottom of the flower. I've made a nice selection of buds and flowers here. I'm finally just going to tape a bit of half-width green floral tape to each of the wires. And now to dust, I've got some green and yellow petal dust here, which I've just mixed together to create a vibrant green. I'm dusting all over the calyx and just at the very base of the flower. And now I have a sort of aubergine type colour mixed with a bit of cornflour to soften it, and I'm just lightly dusting the neck of the flower. Now just tape them into groups of about 6 to 7 flowers, and that's it.